Hello, I'm That Casual Gaming Guy, and welcome to another episode of Wild Gardens Zoo. In today's episode, we're going to build our giant otter habitat. Today I thought we'd try something a little new, a little different from previous videos, and that is talk about some fun facts about the animals that we're going to see on screen. Well, today's episode we only have the one animal because it is such a big habitat to build that I've pulled out some fun facts from the game itself to tell you guys. I'm also going to have them show up on screen as I say them. So our first fact is that giant otters are a large semi-aquatic mammal that live in the Amazon River Basin and the Pantanal wetlands of South America. The giant otter has thick velvet-like brown fur with distinctive white markings around its throat. Interesting. They also have large webbed feet and a wing-like tail adapted for swimming, and they are also the largest member of the weasel family. Did you know that giant otters have 9 different vocalizations that they use to communicate with their group members? And our final fun fact for this episode is that giant otters are intelligent and can be trained to do various tasks and tricks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little segment of fun facts, and please let me know down in the comments if you think it's something that I should continue to do. Now, let's get into what is actually happening on the screen. Alrighty, so it looks like we have gotten the terrain and the water put in for our otters here, and we're just testing now to see if that was enough as far as the terrain styles, and looks like I was way off and it needs a lot more. So there's that, and of course it also needs foliage. What animal doesn't need foliage and shelter and coverage and stuff like that? So of course that's what we're about to do now. Now, while we're doing that, one of the things that I wanted to talk about during the episode while you watch is what I started a couple of days ago, and that was live plays or let's plays on the channel. The one thing that I've done so far is we've had one episode of me playing Medieval, which is a remake of a late 90s PlayStation 1 game. And it's one of my favorites and a few of my family members. So it was really fun playing through the first couple of levels of that, and it will be something that will be continued. One of the things to look out for sure. Some of them will be live and live streamed, and some of them will be pre-recorded, because there are sometimes when I want to play that it's just not worth going live for because no one's awake. Another thing that we can look forward to with these live streams and let's plays will be more games to come, and one of the ones that I'm going to start soon is going to be either Resident Evil or Kingdom Hearts. And I believe with Resident Evil I'm going to start with 0 because it's the start of the lore, the start of the story, even though it came out after Code Veronica, I believe. And then there's also, with Kingdom Hearts, I would start at the beginning too, but I don't know if I would start at the beginning of the timeline or the first game that came out, because that timeline gets so convoluted that it's hard to keep track of as it is. So that one's going to be a little bit trickier. And of course, this is like planning ahead in for years, if you think about how large these franchises are. So yeah, another thing with these Let's Plays and the live streams is right now I don't have a schedule for them like I do for my regular videos. And that will be coming soon. I need to sit down and figure out a schedule because I need time to play the games like Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster so I can make these videos. And then I also need time to actually do the live streams, which I plan on doing at least an hour or so at a time, because it is extremely hard to sit in this chair for much longer than that. Now, speaking of the future, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the future of this zoo. And that is the animals that will be coming. I want to say that the next animal that I would like to put into the zoo is the king penguin. And that one's going to be a little bit difficult because it needs snow, and I need to figure out the temperature and the regulations of the new water temperature regulator and stuff like that. So that's going to be a little bit of a learning curve there for me, which I know seems weird to hear, but it's true. Also, what animals would you guys like to see? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a partial list of animals that are available down in the description below, as well as I will scroll them on screen here right now. There are so many animals to choose from and so many ways that we can go about this. One of the things that I was thinking of is if we're going to put the king penguins in, we might as well look at other creatures that require the snow, like snow leopards, Siberian tigers, polar bears, and stuff like that. Stuff from the Arctic pack, actually, would probably be the best to put in around there. Reindeer, there's reindeer we can put in. And stuff like that. But also, if you have an idea from these animals of maybe another area we can start working on, then by all means, please go ahead and comment down below. Alrighty, let's go ahead and talk about what is going on your screens right now. And what we're working on is the viewing area for the underwater section of the habitat. And that's one of the things that I love about this DLC and stuff, is that all of the, or most at least, of the animals that they've included, they dive underwater and they go underwater. That's why it's the aquatic pack, of course. But that means that your guests want to see them underwater, which is a mechanic I've been wanting for a while. In fact, if you look back to Arklay Zoo, I did an underwater walkthrough underneath the saltwater crocodiles. Something that I would love to do again. And stuff. So we got the bones down, and that's good and all, but there was no power. And I can talk about this issue until I'm blue in the face, but I went ahead and put in solar panels because they don't impact the guests. And then I had a really hard time with this path because it is so close to the viewing area. And the funnier part is I actually wind up getting rid of part of that downstairs viewing area right by where that path goes to make a second tier of the viewing area. So it was kind of pointless. And I tried everything and it just didn't work. So finally I decided to have it tunnel through the side and just go ahead and come around. much like there it goes. I just did it. Alrighty, so now we have people going down in there. I've done the top part already of the pathing off camera, and now we're going to do some trim on our building. And again, I just kept it kind of simple and stuff, and went with painted wood in the same kind of blue scheme that we go with, and it actually turns out rather nice and stuff. So yeah, not bad for my first one of these. And would I do stuff differently after watching this? Yeah, probably. So that just means I can only get better from here if I think this is the bottom, right? Of course, right. So I know I mentioned when I came back to the channel that there was going to be new stuff, especially like stuff in Planet Coaster, and I showed off a little snippet of Happy Valley, and that is still coming. Don't worry, it's actually coming soon. Probably going to take a break from Wild Gardens Zoo and start to put out episodes of Happy Valley. I have to get back into the game and see where I was and see what I'm working on in there and go from there. I've split that area that I'm working on for Happy Valley into 4 sections. And the first section that we'll be working on is kind of like sort of like a Main Street type thing, but it's actually like a castle town or a medieval castle marketplace within the walls of the castle. And if I say castle one more time, don't worry, I'll hit myself for you. Yeah, so it's gonna be a nice park. So that'll be coming soon. We may not have an episode this upcoming Saturday, which I believe is the 2nd of January, just because I may not have the time to get one ready for you guys, especially with trying to figure out the live streams and the Let's Plays and all that. So yeah, I may take a break this weekend and the rest of the week just to kind of get everything together to get content on a more regular basis for you guys, and hopefully to drive in more subscribers and more viewers with this new content. One of the things that I realized that I should have done while building this was not put the darn roof on yet, or taking it off while I was doing all this building on the inside, because it just made moving the camera around so difficult. And that's something I'm going to definitely have to remember next time. But yeah, so I knew that this upper level needed supports. So I just took the supports that I put around the outside to hold up the canopy and put them in here. The only thing that I know is going to happen, and part of me doesn't really care because that's just part of the problem with the AI, is that people will be walking through them because they are put on a path. Nothing I think I can really do about it unless I remove the path from where they are, and then that takes away the viewing area. So I also decided to use these temple stones. I wanted to call them something completely different a second ago. But these temple stones and do the blue color that the whole building is in for the upper walkway to hide the generic really crappy looking concrete, or at least as much as I could. So I think it turns out really well once I get all of it up there and completed, and I do some more tweaking and stuff here and there, and it turns out pretty good. And then I do raise it up a little bit here in a second, just because, you know, I don't have railing on the path system, and it just kind of needed it, so it gives it that little bit of I don't know what, lawfully required protection. You know? The only thing I have rails on is the stairs. Yeah, that's not necessarily the best. Yeah, see, so here I am putting on the outer edging, I guess, of the walls and stuff, and just to make sure everything is a-okay and, you know, up to some standards, I guess. Alrighty, and then the last thing that we do here, or second to the last thing that we do anyways, is put these benches in, and it took me a while to find where the benches were within the game, and I don't know why. I must have been really tired at the time of recording, but we do find the benches that I finally want, and we put them in these half hexagon shape around the educational talk area, which is something new and different that we haven't done before, and I kind of like. And then now the very last thing that we're going to do is put the educational screens and speakers on the walls here, and actually I may have put too many too close together, but we won't know until I actually go through and play the game. So yeah. And that brings us to the end of episode 5. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. As always, please leave me a comment down below. You can even just stop down there to go ahead and say hi. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit subscribe and go back through the back catalog and watch some of the older videos. Definitely do. And so that's about it. I'm That Casual Gaming Guy. I also go by Steven, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.